In this lesson, we'll spend a moment or two talking about the ribbon. And since the ribbon is something I'll make a reference to, somewhere between 100 times and 1,000 times in this course, it's a good idea to take a moment and identify what the ribbon is, how it's used, and even though you may have dealt with it before using other Office applications, you may pick up a tip or two that will help you work with the ribbon more efficiently. So let's first start by defining the ribbon. The ribbon replaces, and has replaced since Office 2007, it replaces what used to be in the menus in the Office suite of applications, and that is the commands. If you want to paste something, change the font to a bold font, change the font up here, change it to bold, change your paragraph style, and so on. All of those commands that make the program do what you want it to do are kept in the ribbon, and so they're put visually left to right across the top of the screen rather than buried in a system of menus and submenus. So the ribbon itself contains multiple tabs. Insert, Design, Data, Process, Review, and View are the Visio tabs. The exception is this File tab, which looks like a tab of the ribbon, and technically it is, but when we click on File, we get to the Backstage view, and we'll look at that in the following lesson. Now, within each individual tab, you have tab grouping. So you have a font grouping, a paragraph grouping, a tools grouping, and there are the commands in the tools grouping, there are the commands in the paragraph grouping, and so on. We also have, within the groupings, sometimes these little buttons or icons that just give us a visual indicator that if I give it a click, I get a larger dialog box with which I can make configuration to, in this case, the paragraph. If I clicked on that, it would let me change some aspects of the font. So I'll go ahead and close this window right now by clicking on Cancel. And the takeaway so far is that the ribbon is where you'll go to execute a command with your Visio diagram you'll be creating. Now, if you want to show and hide the ribbon, you can go over here to the lower right hand side of the ribbon and you can click on this chevron to collapse the ribbon. So now the ribbon is collapsed and the chevron goes away. So if you're looking to the right hand side to expand the ribbon again to access your commands, you may be a little bit confused about what to do. And what you do is you just click on one of the tabs. So if I want to bring back the home tab of the ribbon, I give that a click. And then if I click somewhere else, if I click back in the diagram, notice that the ribbon hides itself again. It is collapsed. If I want to bring back the ribbon permanently, then I double click it and it stays there. Now, I can also use that same double click technique to show and hide the ribbon. I don't have to use the chevron. What you should also know about the ribbon is that it is context sensitive. In other words, some of the commands will go away depending on what you've clicked on, and some of them will appear depending on what you've clicked on in your Visio diagram. Let me show you a quick example of that. Notice here that if I click on this shape, that I have the ability to do a quick style. So I just unclicked it, I select it here, and quick styles becomes active, and then I can use a different quick style. What you're also seeing underneath this drop down is that you're seeing another phenomenon of the ribbon called live preview. And live preview gives you an indicator of what you will see when you make the click. So once again, the quick style is active in the ribbon if I have this shape selected. If I don't have it selected, then I can't click on this button, and that's the context sensitive nature of the ribbon at work. Now, as a last note here, I'll minimize Visio and show you one other thing that will impact what you see in the ribbon. Depending on your screen resolution, you can see more commands than I may be showing or less commands. And what that has to do with, again, is your screen resolution. So if you increase the resolution, you should see more of the ribbon until all the commands are displayed. It won't show you more commands than are possible in the ribbon. The commands you see are a function of that, the resolution. It can also be a function of your text size. So if you click here, and I'm using Windows 8, but you should see a similar dialog if you're using Windows 7, this make text and other items larger or smaller If your text is larger, then you may not see all the commands of the ribbon. But if that's the case, you still should be able to access all of the different commands of the ribbon. They just might be hidden, and you might have to use a chevron, a different chevron over here, to display more commands of the ribbon than you are already seeing. Finally, we can customize the ribbon. We'll do that in a later lesson, but for now, you have a good overview of what the ribbon is used for.